When I first wrote the film, I had changed all of the names and I wasn't telling anyone that this was my personal story.
Can you get in trouble for this?
It just has opened up my entire world now that I've done that. But it did take courage. It did, because there's a stigma attached to that work. And I didn't have that personal stigma, but the outside society does. There are women and men who are engaging in sex work that enjoy their jobs. It's a very blue collar. It's what they choose, sometimes as a mode of survival, but sometimes also as this is what they love to do. And then right there next to that line, there's the exploitive trafficking and people being coerced into doing something that they don't want to do. And I really, in the story, wanted to show how fine that line is. I was adopted at a young age, around 2 years old. And so that kind of created a little bit of a split identity for myself. And I was always really fascinated with names. And every time I would move to a new school, I would try to take on another name. And when I was writing, I had all these different pseudonyms. And Jezebel was a name that I had read, not in the Bible, but in something, reading like something religious. I loved just the phonetic quality, the sound of that name. And I wished that I could have that. I just think it's a beautiful name, but I would have never tried to call myself Jezebel because I had read, about that, this was a derogatory name, or this is something that, you say to shame someone. And so when I became Chem Girl, that was the name that I wanted to choose. I finally was able to kind of use this very naughty name that I wasn't going to be able to use in my real life. So for me, it wasn't rooted, so much in trying to play against a stereotype. It was more rooted in really just my own joy and pleasure for the way the name sounded.
You can do what you want.
So I play my older sister in the film, which is a dream role for me. She's a fascinating woman, and I really wanted to play her, and she gave me permission to do so. So I'm interviewing her, I'm observing her in ways I never observed her before. I'm observing her laugh and her cadence of speech. I'm also really trying to dig in and understand her emotional palette when we were living in Las Vegas. And so that was the thing that I asked her, what was the thing that you thought about more than anything else every day? And her answer was, how are we getting the rent paid on Friday? Every Friday it was due. And so that really is the biggest thing that I learned, because I never thought about it in that way. I didn't have that weight on my shoulders. I knew that it needed to get done, but I just trusted that she was gonna get it done. There's a scene where we as a family go to our mother's funeral on the bus. We travel there on the bus together. We're all in black. That was a true story that really happened. There's just a lot of gravity to that, to filming that. We did it guerrilla style. We just got on I know Las Vegas, so I picked the route where I knew that there weren't gonna be a lot of people on the bus, and we just got on the bus, all dressed in black, went straight to the back of the bus and started filming. And it's a really, really powerful moment for me in the film, because we're not talking, but we're just all silently grieving together on a bus in Las Vegas. I made it for me and my sister. I made it for Black women. I made it for sisters in general. Sisters can be a mother and a friend, both at the same time. I made it for women with 4C hair. I made it for anyone who's lost a mother, who knows what that struggle is and how you have to keep moving forward through your grief. And yeah, I made it for Black people. Ray was really on top of my list, who I felt would be a good partner. Ava DuVernay, Black women, with a film that's about Black women.